All right, welcome everyone to Eagles Power Hour. You might have noticed different microphone, new microphone. We're moving up in the world, but today we're instantly reacting to Eastern Washington's 42 to 17, 42 to 27 victory over the Monmouth Hawks. Man, I was at the game. It was a blast. This was a fun game, but holy shit, this fourth quarter was so dang stressful in it. I was just losing my mind. Um, and the reason for that is Eastern dominated three quarters of this game. They had a few small F ups on the back end of the defense, but overall they really dominated this game, in my opinion. On the ground, through the air, offensively, even defensively, they look good. And then this fourth quarter, man, Monmouth just could move the ball with ease. We had multiple misassignments by the defense on the defensive side of things. Let the game get a little too close for comfort for me, at least. And so, just frustrating fourth quarter, I should say. Few little mental errors on defense, but overall, as an Eastern fan, hey, I feel great. I think Monmouth is a better team than most. Well, we'll see. I think Monmouth is a middle tier CAA school, and to me, this game was more of a 42 to 14 type of game, which is what we saw through two and a half quarters of football. Gave up the a couple big plays to that Monmouth defense or Monmouth offense, excuse me. But I don't know, man. Overall, I think the biggest themes is hey, Eastern's offense looks amazing. Efton Chisholm is a dude, like a dude. That man. Let's just read his stats because Efton Chisholm was absolutely the player of the game. 12 receptions for 173 yards, 14.4 yards per catch. Wow, 3 touchdowns along with 35, and I believe he had like over 100 yards after catch, is what I heard on the post game show by Larry Weir. Holy smokes, dude! What a game for Efton. He just absolutely dominant. He was there on third down. He was there early in the game. Early downs, he was catching the ball in the flat and just making dudes miss. If Eastern's going to be able to get him one on one in space, dude, almost no one's going to be able to bring him down. He's so damn shifty, and that's what he did all day. Took advantage of getting one of those one on one matchups in the flat. Catch the ball. There's someone right there, and he just shimmies, and they can't even touch him. And I think that's something that's going to be true all year. That's going to be Efton Chisholm. And I think teams are going to start adjusting to that. And he's going to be getting a lot of brackets and a lot of attention. So, after going off for 173 yards, hey, Efton may be getting a lot more attention by defenses. It seemed like they were not giving him enough attention today. Um, Offensively, though, man, awesome game. Let's just read through some of these stats. Kiko Vesperis looked excellent tonight. Nearly perfect. 25 for 28 today. Only 3 incompletions. One of them, one was a drop by Nolan Nome that is not the greatest ball of all time. The other two, I can't even really remember. Jared Taylor also completed a pass. That pass was actually a freaking bubble screen to Kiko Vesperis. Very, dude, this offense is so much fun. Kikos Vesperis, 275 yards. He averaged 10 yards a completion and 5 touchdowns today. Awesome, dude. Like Kikoa, if Chisholm didn't have 175 yards, Kikoa would be up there. But Kikoa just did a good job distributing the ball. I mean, he found Efton Chisholm when he was open. He got rid of the ball when he needed to. He ran when he needed to. Made a couple of nice plays, lowered the shoulder for a nice first down at one point. All around, man, offensively, this was an awesome game. Everything offensively just was clicking. Guys, one of the big themes that Kyler used to hit on this show back in the day is, hey, those balanced Eastern teams are the teams that are good. Those balanced teams that run the ball and pass the ball. Dude, Eastern Washington rushed for 265 yards today, 54 attempts on the ground. That is ridiculous for Eastern Washington, dude. I cannot remember the last time we nearly doubled our pass count with our rushing attempt count. 54 rushes on 29 pass attempts. And I mean, there was a few like drop back passes and scramble type of deal, but Eastern was ground and pounding it down Monmouth's throat, dude. 265 yards on the ground. Your leading rusher is Tuna Alta here. He had a great game, 16 carries for 108 yards, nearly average 7 yards a carry. No touchdowns, but did have a nice 23-yard run. Very consistent all night long, just ripping off chunks. Jared Taylor, second leading rusher, he had 14 carries for 64 yards. He definitely took over later in the game, but he just missed out on a long touchdown run early in the game. 64 yards on 14 carries, a touchdown. He got in there at one point. Man, whenever they have, fourth and short, it really feels like Jared Taylor or Mike Wortham are getting that ball. Speaking of Mike Wortham, he had 8 carries for 37 yards, 4.5 yards a carry, a long of 9. He didn't have the flashiest game stat wise, but he always looked good. Made a couple big plays. Malik Dotson looked good today. He didn't get necessarily like big volume, but he definitely got the ball in a couple big spots, a couple third downs, and put his shoulder down and made the play. Does a good job of reading and in cutting up the hole. I think the running backs really played well, as well as the offensive line looked really, really good today. Speaking of the offensive line, they kind of ran like an A and B offensive line. So, the A offensive line is your typical starting five. You got Wyatt Hanson, Luke Dahlgren, Jack Seeley, Brendan Rivera, and Dylan Connor at right tackle. Then the B line was Dylan Connor at left tackle, Wyatt Hanson, who normally plays left tackle, at left guard, Jack Seeley at center. Then they moved left guard Luke Dahlgren over to right guard. He's playing right guard. And right tackle was the Michigan transfer. His name is escaping me right now. But I'm not sure. I'd have to look back at film to get kind of the tendency there. But hey, they look good, man. They looked really good. I like getting Wyatt Hanson back into more of his natural position at guard there. Just overall, I was very impressed with this team. I thought offensively this team looked really good. Well, the one caveat to that is, hey, Monmouth is not a good defensive team. Uh, you know, that's true, and that's it's hard to kind of expect 42 points every week in the Big Sky. But man, this offense looks really good. Really, really good. Defensively, man, ups and downs today. Defensively, they really did play. I think they played 3 really good quarters of football. Dude, they only gave up 14 points through 3 quarters of football. They played very, very well. Really, man, they shut down the rushing game. I was very, very impressed. I cannot believe they did not run Sony Ento as much as I expected. Big number 18 or 19. He's 5'11", 235-pound running back. I thought he was going to get just pound the rock with him. He only got 5 carries for 14 yards. Mekhi Green and Rodney Nelson both had 6 carries for 17 yards. Rodney Nelson was more of the starting running back today, which is kind of strange. Mekhi Green, he got a little action out of the backfield, made a couple plays there, but he's their main kick returner. Very, explosive, fast guy, but six carries, 17 yards, 6 carries, 17 yards, 5 carries, 14 yards. TJ Spite had 1 carry for 6 yards on a little fly sweep there. Derek Robertson had 2 carries for -3. He had 1 read option that was positive, and then he had a negative play later in the game. I think he got sacked later in the game. But dude, the shutdown that Monmouth rush game that scared me a little bit, man. I was worried that Monmouth was going to be able to run the ball kind of all over us. I was getting nervous. To me, I was thinking that they were really going to lean on Sony Ento, and man, they leaned on Robertson, and man, he made some freaking throws. That first half, both those touchdowns. Well, the first touchdown was just an absolute ball. That drive was awesome by Derek Robertson. He definitely rose to the challenge, man, because he played his butt off. The completions weren't weren't the best you would like to see, like the completion percentage, 27 for 42 for him, but 390 yards at the end of the game, 9 yards a pass, 3 touchdowns and a pick. The pick kind of sealed the game at the end there. It was nice. I believe Kentrell Williams caught the pick, and he had a few brain dead moments there late in the game that were like, hey, what are we doing? Coming up into the box for a run when it's a pass, stuff like that. Couple mental errors, but dude, it's week 1, man. And I'm honestly, dude, I'm pretty dang optimistic about this Eastern defense. I'm just what I saw from the front seven guys was very impressive. I think there's a couple concerning things that could be, for example, the defense looked very weak in the flats, very slow in the flats in general. That was where a lot of that Monmouth yardage came from, was little drag routes that end up in the flat, little, out. What's the proper term? I can't even think of it. Little like arrow routes from the running back out there, little arrow routes from the tight ends out there. I can't think of the proper route name, but in the flats, that was kind of where they had an advantage offensively, where Derek Robertson was able to get the ball accurately to whoever was in the flat, and they'd get, a good chunk of 8-9 yards. That was the biggest problem I saw. And then that's where a few of those big plays came from, especially in the first half. I believe it was, is it Josh Derry, one of Monmouth's kind of quicker receivers, number 14. I can't remember his name. He had one where he came in motion and then kind of went out into the flat. They passed the ball to him, and he was in coverage with our will linebacker, who was Deshaun Misa. And Misa, I mean, gave a good effort, but he's just not that fast. Whoever that receiver was, number 14, speedy guy, outran him, and he was just gone. That wasn't great to see. But hey, man, Coach Sanders adjusted, dude. I like what I saw from Coach Sanders. I like what I saw with the defense. They played hard. They confused they confused Robertson at times where he was trying to force balls into places where they weren't available. Shout out to Jaheim Wells. He had a very solid game at corner number 3. They didn't really test Darian Sampson a whole lot. At least, that's what I saw as a fan sitting in the end zone, not like super mega dial. I'm dialed in, but not like watching film type dialed in. So, it'll be interesting to watch this game back on film. Instant reaction, literally drove home from the game, ate a little bit of food, and I'm here recording now. So, hey, man, instant reaction thematically, I'm excited. I think this Eastern offense is going to be super fun to watch this year. I think they got some mismatch. I think they're going to be matchup nightmares for a lot of Big Sky defenses, especially if Kikoa plays the way he did tonight, takes care of the ball the way he did tonight. He had one little iffy throw that I thought was going to get picked off, and it ended up getting snagged out of the air by our tight end. But I'll read off the rest of the receiving stats really quick for Eastern Washington. Efton Chisholm, like I said, MVP of the game, 12 yards received, 12 receptions, one shy of his career high. I heard on the postgame show, 173 yards, 14.4 per catch, 3 touchdowns, long of 35 yards. Absolute day for Efton Chisholm, man. And I think he's going to have a monster year. And he's going to be getting a lot more attention. I bet Drake's going to try to bracket him. I bet Nevada's going to try to bracket him. I bet C-Law is going to try to bracket him, because look at what happened when teams didn't. He was getting matchups with nickelbacks in the flat, and he just take advantage of it. I think that leads to guys like Miles Williams and Nolan Olm having a lot more opportunities for big plays down the road. Miles Williams, 5 catches for 42 yards, 8 yards a catch, 1 touchdown. He had a nice touchdown. Kiko was rolling. He was at the sideline, had to fit it into a tight window when Miles Williams was able to catch it for his touchdown catch. It was a very nice catch. Williams had a couple of bubble screens that he took for a few yards as well. One thing I want to say, dude, the receivers blocking. I was so jacked to see that. These dudes love the game so much, dude. They played their butts off. Blocking was awesome. Nolan Olm, actually, I think on one of the Efton Chisholm touchdowns, Nolan Olm literally bulldozed one of the corners back 5-6 yards to open up the window for Chisholm to score. It was pretty awesome. I thought it was a tight end out there. No, it was Nolan Olm, man. Nolan Olm had 5 receptions for 40 yards, 8 yards a catch, 1 touchdown as well. He had one very nice play, a 25-yard catch later in the game. I believe it was a 3rd down, big play, tiptoe on the sideline. Awesome play. Malik Dotson had 2 catches for 15 yards. He had, 8-yard reception. Kiko Vesperis had 1 reception for 7 yards. Threw a little bubble screen out to our backup quarterback. Threw a little bubble screen out to our first-string quarterback, and our first-string quarterback was running, got 7 yards out of it. That was pretty interesting. And then Jet Carpenter had 1 5-yard catch. He had a solid game blocking as well. Man, freaking 44. What is his dang name? Wow, I'm a horrible fan. What is his name? 44, 44, 44. He's been here forever. Butte College tight end, and his name is totally escaping me. Excuse me. I apologize. Austin York, dude. Austin York was hustling like a MFer on offense. He was pushing dudes back to the sideline multiple times. I watched it, and that was really funny to see. He totally just looks like an old school fullback blocking dudes, and I was hyped. Moral of the story, guys. We're gonna start wrapping this up. Whew. Eastern might have a little bit of a defense, a little bit. Hey, the floodgates open there in the fourth quarter with some miscommunication, and that's something that we're gonna have to build to. But it's week one, and Eastern's offense looks like it's gonna be really tough to stop for most of these Big Sky schools, especially just the offensive line looks really good. Kikoa looks really good. The diversity and the dynamic ability of all these guys. You got a Wortham, you got a Jared Taylor, you got a Kikoa Bears. All of them can run. You got Chisholm in the flat. You got Nolan Olm as a deep threat and a big body receiver to go block someone for you. You got Miles Williams, who, I mean, shoot, he's barely even touched the field he's touched the field, but he hasn't really made much of an impact. And he might have one of the highest ceilings on the whole offense. Dude, this offense is awesome. Awesome. I'm so excited to watch them play, some higher level competition, some better defenses, and just see what happens, man. Really excited for the offense. Defensively, you know, 3 quarters of football that I was very excited for. They shut down the run, which I was not necessarily fully anticipating. The box, they look good. The linebackers look good. The defensive line looked awesome. I think if I'm given a defensive player of the game, I think it goes to the whole D line. To be honest with you, I'm trying to. I mean, I don't know who would deserve it necessarily. I think it's just the whole D line. Uh, Samurai Anderson had a very solid game as well. Kentrell Williams was up in the box making plays, but it led to him having a couple goofy plays. To be honest with you, but I just overall excited, very optimistic, and man, look at this. Listen to this stat: 547 total yards for Eastern Washington. Oh no, there it is. 547 total yards for Eastern Washington, 0 turnovers, 31 first downs. Monmouth had 439 total yards, 1 turnover, 24 first downs. Time of possession battle. Eastern wins this 37 minutes, 18 seconds to Monmouth's 22 minutes, 42 seconds. Interesting enough, like the times that Monmouth was able to hit Eastern's defense was when they went tempo. They went really fast, and Eastern was just out of position a couple of times, which is hey, that's a little concerning. But really, man, when Eastern was set up and they were in their right coverage and they were communicating well, they looked very good. I think that secondary has a chance to be really good if they strap a few things down. Week one, man, I think the ceiling for this Eastern team is really high, but gotta temper expectations. It's Monmouth. Monmouth won 3 games last year, or 4 games last year against, you know, all sub 500 teams last year. So, hey, man, to close it out here a little bit, I'm so excited, dude. I think this Eastern team could be very fun and just a very memorable team that just, I think they have a chance to really do better than the expectation of, fifth or sixth on the Big Sky. I think they could make a push to that top 5 in the Big Sky type of deal. And I'm really hoping for it, man. I really want to see them upset a couple of those big schools because I think it's going to be a great time. All right. So don't know the recording schedule yet. Don't know the podcast schedule yet. I got a busy weekend this weekend, which is why I'm recording this at 11 at night, basically. So I'm going to have to, I don't know what our schedule is totally going to be next week, but we're going to get a Drake preview out there and we're going to talk about this game a little bit more in depth as well, probably in the same episode. So keep an eye out for that. But man, hey, good day to be the Eagle. 1-0. And, hey, we're favored by 10 points, but beat the spread, cover the spread. Hey, I'm great teams cover the spread. Just saying, shout out to Sacramento State, who is playing San Jose State right now. Let's get a live score update as of Okay, I'm not gonna spoil that, but San Jose State beat Sac State. But to close it out, go Eags, guys, and get your asses to Roos on Saturday. It was a fun game today. Ending the game under the lights is awesome, and I'm excited. It's a great day. Now, my expectations and my optimism will for sure be dampened soon, but we will see. Thanks everyone for listening, and go Eags.